Well, hello there, boys and girls. Pickled Dragon here. So I just got this little artifact, this relic in the mail, and I had to crack it open right away. I was I was actually asked by a number of people if I was going to keep it sealed so that in 100 years, when my kids need a few dollars, they could go hawk this thing. But no, I'm not so much a collector. Everything I buy to have fun with. So let's go ahead and unveil the contents. There's quite a lot going on here. Obviously, the book here. Let me go ahead and pull this thing out right here so that it's a little easier for you to see. Um, we have a little. This is the box set, the special edition, the pièce de résistance. This is the good stuff. In other words, let's go ahead and slide this out. We have here the original, or a reprint, I should say, a reprint of the original tournament play of Tomb of Horrors, 1975 mod. It's all the original artwork before it was released as an official module. It's pretty nice. I am fairly certain. Wow. Here we have a hand-drawn map of the Tomb of Horrors, as drawn by Gary, our Lord and Savior. But you can see that this entire thing was typed on a typewriter. It's got that typewriter font. It's beautiful, classic, as it were. Pretty sure that there's some fabulous treasures waiting inside there. And then in the back we have a little bit of a frightening stuff there. In the back we have an appendix of the Tomb of Rahotep. A little extra back here. Isn't this great? Handwritten module here. I think nearly all old timers have tons of this stuff. I've got hundreds and hundreds of pages of handwritten adventures and folders. Jackal stick in hand which controls sphere of annihilation. Anti-magic, non-magical globe of deadest black, 3-foot diameter. Anything that touches it, and he has anything underlined, anything that touches it is absolutely destroyed, but its control is difficult. For each point of intelligence, you get 2% control. For each level of magic use, you get 3% control. And then the Jackal stick adds to intelligence 1% per point. Wow. And then there's a little computation that someone made here to see if their character could control the sphere of annihilation. That is great. Fabulous. Then we have some great old art. We have, that's Keep on the Borderlands, of course. I'm probably going to get all these framed up. Some Greyhawk stuff. We have, ooh, there we go. What's this one? The Swords of Deceit by Keith Parkinson. So on the backs of them, they have the attribution. Here we go. This one is from the second edition Player's Handbook by Larry Elmore, an interior painting, and that is great. And there's a few larger ones in here. A Black Dragon, giving a lot of grief to some players there, some characters, some adventurers. Ooh, the old first edition Player's Handbook, front and rear covers. You know what's funny is that I when I was a kid, I used to look at this thing and think, you know, what were they doing in this poor lizard man's house, and why are they dragging dead bodies away like that? Hence my assertion that players are just glorified home invaders. So here's an old Todd Lockwood painting. Let me see if I can get the glare off of there for you. Oh, just making it worse. There we go. This is kind of a classic painting. Everyone's seen this. We'll get all these framed up nice. The old Fiend Folio. There we go. Front and back. What else we got? There's a larger one. Ooh. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Classic art. I hope you guys can see that all the way across there. And actually, I don't know if any of you ever played the old Ultima Online game. This is the Dungeon Master Screen, 1979 by Dave Trampier. Wow. It reminds me of the, well, of course, Ultima Online would have borrowed from that, but oh my goodness, here's a big one. This has got to be like Giant Slayer stuff. Oh, it's a biggie. Yeah. That's what, Storm King's Thunder or something? The beheading giants. Home invaders. Home invaders, I say. Alright, let's see what we got now. Let's pull the old book out. I'm going to move this aside so I don't mess up anything. The book is heavy. So, I'm going to find a safe place for all of these treasures. I'm going to turn this to face you guys. The Village of Hamlet. Look at that. You know, the Village of Hamlet might be... I actually used this back in the 80s and early 90s as like the center of my gaming world, if it were. This is where the players... this is where the players came together and planned all of their adventures for years. And in fact, you guys know Rufus and Bernie they're building the castle out here and so forth. Well, you see all these open areas. My players actually built their own freeholds here, and so there was like a big tower on the hill here, and we actually drew it in. I'll have to share some of that old stuff with you. In fact, that would be a great video because I still have all of those old maps where they built their own towers and keeps and stuff. And you see this is a dotted line. It was because Rufus and Bernie were just planning on getting this built. And in my world, they eventually finished it. So we actually inked it all in, and beautiful. I don't even know where to start. There's the cover of the reprint of the first edition Player's Handbook. I mean, there's like literally like how many pages we got here? Oh, look at that. How many pages we got here? 438. So I could sit here paging through this thing for hours, and so I'm just going to grab wads of pages and kind of just show it off to you guys. Anyone recognize that? First edition Monster Manual? Yeah. Good stuff. Let's see what else we got here. The earlier stuff, the earlier pages is what I really like because, you know, Doctor Strange inspired. I don't know if you've ever seen Tim Kask interviewed, but he and Dr. Strange inspired Gary and him to do a lot of the things they did for D&D. It's kind of interesting. Here we're back at Tomb of Horrors. So we kind of paged through the original Tomb of Horrors, but you could see how the original art became the new art. It's beautiful. And I just page back one more. There's the hand-drawn map. I don't even know. Let's grab another wad of pages and see where we end up. Oh, the original 3 books there. I guess that was what, the brown box or something. Here's the evolution of the Beholder. The original 1975 Beholder, who looks terrifying, especially compared to like 3rd edition. You know, it's great. I actually kind of like the 2nd edition. And the 1st edition one just has a soft spot in my heart. There he is. Gary. Oh, man. And, of course, Dave Arneson and Dave Sutherland. If you guys haven't checked out Tim Kask's YouTube channel, it's the Curmudgeon in the Cellar. And he's done like 50 some odd videos, and he just talks about the old days of gaming, and he answers people's questions. And But a lot of discussion of the old days, and I highly recommend you check him out because it's very interesting to hear his take on the old days, Serac, the evolution. Looks like an old character sheet here, old school. Oh, and here's the cover that caused so much controversy. And if I'm not mistaken, there are people up in arms because it's a woman on an altar and everything. And well, I think that was actually painted and submitted by like a girl. She was really young, like 17 or 18. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure a woman painted that. So I don't know if that makes a difference to some people or not, but oh, and the bag of monsters from Hong Kong that made up a lot of the monsters in the monster manual. It's great. Ooh, first edition DMG. I actually have 2 of these. I don't know where to stop. There's a succubus that caused so much controversy. It's interesting how controversial D&D was back in the 70s and 80s with the satanic scare, and everyone thought that this was going to turn kids into Satan worshipers, and that's going to make them want to sacrifice their friends to demons and whatnot. Just ridiculous stuff. All it did was bring a bunch of smelly nerds together to have friends and hang out and have fun and use their imagination. And now today, people look back and just have to laugh. Back then, it was serious business. I remember I think it was my doctor speaking to my pediatrician when I was a kid, speaking to my mom about the dangers because he found out I was into D&D, and oh, that's dangerous stuff. And she just laughed it off, of course, because I wasn't hurting anyone. Oh goodness, I don't even know where to stop. I actually had all of these toys. I don't know if they have the toys in here. I would imagine they do, with the little skull, the serpent castle, and there's the cartoon, of course. But I don't know where those toys are. I'd imagine they're in my parents' attic these days. And there's quite a lot of this kind of art where they show the sketch and then the finished product side by side. It's beautiful. I love it. And you can tell that came off a dot matrix printer. It's great. There again, sketch, finished product. I don't want to spoil too much of this. I just kind of page 2 very quickly. I had to share it with you guys. I actually have a print of this signed by the artist. Let me see if I can scooch it over so you can see it's easily painting. But he signed it, and I think it's in my son's room right now. It's great. But that's about all I have. I don't want to, obviously I can't show you the whole thing. It would take hours, but just wanted to share this with you. I'm so very happy to have this come in. A few big things. I think tomorrow, October 24th, the Nolzers is releasing their huge size miniatures. And I think October 31st, there's some dragons, like big gargantuan sized dragons that you can paint that are coming out from the deep cuts folks. I think there's like a red and a green, maybe another one. So keep an eye out for that if you're into miniatures. But in the meantime, I am look up my Patreon if you're interested in supporting my work. I do a number of rewards each month, providing 5e content, NPCs, original magic items, original monsters, encounters, and so forth for patrons. We also have discussions on creating good traps and riddles and all whatnot. So check out my Patreon page. It'll be linked in the bottom. Also, you can check me out on my website. And, of course, you can always check out my adventures. Some of them are on the DM's Guild, and very soon, the Monstrous Lexicon. 68 new monsters and 4 playable races will be releasing. So look for that. In the meantime, hit the little subscribe button. Have a good time. Be good, everybody. Happy gaming. I'm out.